जय गुरुदेव स्वामी जी।
So before today we start, let me introduce few things. Many of us might already be aware, many of us not necessarily. So we'll be reading stories from Shiva Purana. Purana is made up of two words, Pura and Ana. Pura means city and Ana means new. That which is new in the city is called Purana. Though these days many people believe that Purana means old. They confuse the Sanskrit Purana with Hindi Purana. So anyway, this is the first thing. Then the second is, how do we approach the stories? There are two ways to look at the stories. One is like mythology, and one is like stories from which we can learn something. What is the basic difference? When we look at something as mythological stories, nothing wrong with that, but the mind, the intellect then shuts down. Intellect starts to put the toll gates, toll plazas, as we say in India, tolls. When you travel from one place to another place, many times there are gates, and they extract some price for going through that. And when we look at the stories as simple stories from which we can learn something, this will be a better approach. Don't know. So now in this Shiva Purana, Shiva, many people would like to see Shiva as some person, as someone who existed at some point of time. They like to look at it like this, but this is again, this will not help. Shiva was never someone person who was born. So in this story, there is only one person so far. Today's story, and maybe we'll continue this story for next session also, because it's quite a long story. Only one is the person who was ever born, Narada. Other than that, none of the characters were in physical form. So Shiva is one character, Vishnu is another character, Brahma is another character, and then Kamadev. Kamadev is the lord of all desires. Whatever desire we get because of the influence of this angel. Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, they are not angels. They are the elements that was beyond angels, much above and beyond. Basically, one basic element that from that everything has come. Angels have come, human beings have come, then subtle beings, many types of subtle beings are there. So remember this character, angel, the Kamadeva, the angel of all desires. With the desires create lust or greed, It is by the influence of this angel called Kam Deva. And as I have already shared in previous sessions, all stories are open for interpretations from many angles. From astrology point, from spiritual learning point, from daily life learning, whichever way one would like to see, one is free. None of the interpretations can be called wrong or right. So many perspectives. So Praveenji will read the story. She has done all the hard work of reading it in Hindi and then translating it into English. So we'll start now. So Praveenji will continue the story for how long? It's already 7:40. So 15 minutes will be good enough.
Ji Swamiji. Okay. Shiv Puran. Story of Narada. One time, son of Brahma, sage Narada, was meditating in silence in a cave in Himalaya. Looking at his intense meditation, his tapas, Lord Indra got worried if Narada is meditating to win over his kingdom. He talked to his friend Kamadeva, the angel of lust and desire, and requested him to disrupt Narada's meditation. Kamadeva went there and tried different ways to make Narada restless, vigilant, so to speak, but nothing could affect Narada's mind. This was all due to grace of Shiva, as Shiva himself had meditated on that spot. That's why Kamdeva could not affect Narada's mind. Also, this was the spot where Kamdeva's physical body was turned into ashes by Shiva while meditating. Also, at this spot, Kamdeva's illusion would not work, as when Shiva had turned Kamdeva into ashes, his wife Rati cried. At this, Shiva, being the compassionate, told her that after some time Kamdeva would come back to life, but at this particular place, and from wherever he can be seen burning into ashes, till that part of the earth, his illusion and arrows of lust and desire will have no effect. Due to the failure, Kamdeva felt ashamed and went back to Lord Indra. This was all Shiva's illusion, which Indra did not understand and praised Narada. He could not see the illusion of Shiva and got into wonder. With the grace of Shiva, Narada meditated for a long time. When he came out of his meditation, he realized that he had won over Kamdeva. Moment he realized he won over Kamdeva, his knowledge got destroyed. Narada's knowledge got destroyed. Then he visited Shiva's abode and started boasting of his victory on Kamdeva. Shiva praised Narada and advised him not to repeat his victory in front of any other devas or angels, especially to Lord Vishnu. But even after Shiva's advice, Narada visited Lord Vishnu and again boasted his victory on Kamadeva. This was also Shiva's illusion. Then Narada visited Lord Brahma and bowed down to him and once again boasted about his victory on Kamadeva. Lord Brahma prayed to Shiva and realized that Shiva had advised him not to reveal this to anyone. He, Lord Brahma, advised Narada once again not to tell it to anyone else. But Narada neglected Brahma's advice. This was all due to Shiva's Moha Maya. Now, Narada was full of ego and his intellect got destroyed. He quickly went to Lord Vishnu's abode. Seeing this, Vishnu offered him his throne and quickly meditated upon Shiva. After praying to Shiva, Vishnu asked Narada, "Dear Narada, where are you coming from and what brings you to my abode?" After listening to this, Narada fully recited his story of victory over Kamadeva. Listening to this, Lord Vishnu said, "O Narada, your Mohini, the illusion, is worth praising. O Narada, your fame and innocent intellect, Nirmal Man, is also worth praising. Lust, anger, greed, attachment, these qualities only affect people who are devotionless. But you are established in knowledge and dispassion. You are an established celibate brahmachari. Of course, Kamdeva could not affect you." On this, Narada said, "O Lord, this is your grace. When your grace is on me, how could Kamdeva affect me? I am always fearless as your grace protects me." After saying this, Narada left Vishnu's abode. On Shiva's desire, Lord Vishnu created an illusion on the path where Narada was traveling. A beautiful illusionary city appeared there, and the king's name was Sheel Nidhi. He had a daughter. It was her marriage festival, and different young kings from several countries were visiting, with the hope that she might choose them as her husband. There was lot of activity in the city. Looking at this, Narada got completely lost in this beautiful illusion of a city. When the king saw Narada coming, he bowed down to him and offered his throne and worshipped Narada's feet. He called his daughter to pray to Narada as well. He prayed to Narada that you are a great sage in all the three worlds. With your intuitive power, please describe the good and bad qualities of my daughter. Listening to this, Narada told the king, "O king, your daughter is a form of Mother Divine. Her husband will be the Lord of all three worlds, the one who can win over all the world like Shiva. He will be courageous like Shiva, who has won over the Kamadeva." After this, Narada left. Due to Shiva's Mohamaya, suddenly the thought of marrying the princess himself came into Narada's mind. He started thinking how to make this happen. Since the kingdom is full of all these young kings, why would she even choose Narada? There was one solution, and he went to Lord Vishnu again. He bowed down to Vishnu and told him that the princess is getting married and he wants to marry her. He requested Vishnu to bestow him with his own beautiful look. On this, Vishnu said, "Sure, you definitely should go there, and whatever is beneficial for you, that is what I will do." Just like a sick person asks for medicine, but the doctor doesn't give him what he wants. Keeping the patient's interest and benefit in mind, doctor only gives him the medicine which is good for him. After saying this, Vishnu gave Narada a look of a monkey. He tells Narada, "I gave you the look of Sri Hari." On this, Narada thanked Vishnu. Happily, Narada quickly went to the marriage hall where the event was to take place. Thinking Narada was thinking he is extremely beautiful. He sat on his seat. In that assembly, there were two Rudragana in the form of Brahmin were also there. They knew this secret that only the princess can see Narada's monkey face, but everyone else could see Narada's real face. When that princess came around and saw Narada's monkey face, she got angry, and the whole and in the whole assembly she didn't find anyone suitable for her. She got sad. That is when Lord Vishnu himself came to assembly, and moment she saw Vishnu's adorable look, she chose him as her husband. They got married, and Vishnu took her back to his abode. All kings, including Narada, got sad, and this is when the two Rudra Ganas revealed to Narada that you are affected by Kamdev's Maya illusion, and that's why in this illusion you wanted to marry the girl, but your look is of a monkey. When Narada heard this insult, he cursed the two Rudraganas to be born in Brahmin family but still act like demons. The Rudraganas accepted this curse with grace as a blessing and didn't say anything. After this, Narada, who was now fully soaked in the Kam Agni Mohamaya, went to a pond and looked at his reflection in the water. Here he saw that he looked like a monkey. On this he got very angry and went straight to Vishnu's abode. He scolded him and insulted him a lot. Then he cursed him that just like you made me sad in the longing of a woman, you will be born on earth in your this form. You will become a king, and then you will live your life in longing of your wife. Just like right now, I am sad for my wife. After listening to this, Vishnu gracefully accepted the curse. Moment he accepted the curse, the illusionary princess disappeared, and only Narada and Vishnu in their real form were left. The Narada got free of the Moh Maya illusion. Moment he realized that, he felt very sorry and asked for forgiveness of Vishnu. He apologized for cursing him as well. He prayed that, O Lord, can my curse be a lie, please? I am your servant. Please save me from this sin. Then Vishnu picked up Narada and hugged him. He said, Don't worry, dear friend. You are pure and worth worshipping. When Shiva suggested you not to reveal your victory of Kamadeva to everyone, you were already under the spell of ego and did not listen to his advice. That is why it is him only who broke your ego. The ultimate Param Brahma is Satchidanand because he is the ultimate truth beyond Rajas, Tamas, and he is not affected by any gunas. He is beyond gunas and free of all impurities. Due to his own Maya illusion in the form Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, all these three forms he reveals himself only. All in these three forms he reveals himself only. Please let go of all sorrow and doubts. Only praise his glory, and all your sins will be destroyed. Guruji, Swamiji, the story still keeps on going, but this is what I translated today.
No, this is so good. So, who would like to say something? Learning. Govinji, would you like to start?
Me? Well, from what I learned, Swamiji, that moment we realize that, oh, I won over this desire, that I already has destroyed the knowledge because the ego has come in the form of I. And second, when you're then happily you go to your guru or to a wise man and he's telling you, okay, that's enough, don't go around telling everybody. But we are in such feverishness of that I-ness that we don't even care for the advice, and we keep on boasting, and that is when we go down more and more down the hill. And when the mind is completely in the in that power of illusion, then all the mistakes we make, and we keep on making them more and more, and then there is no dearth to it. That's what I feel. That's what I got out of this story. That, and the main thing that I learned from it was, in every place they were saying it is Shiva's illusion. Shiva did this. So basically, all is rising up from one energy only, and everything that you see is done by Shiva. Maya is also Shiva's, and he takes it away only with his grace. So this is what I got. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Very beautiful, Paviji. Who else?
I can go. So what I understood is like, okay, let me. Yeah, just
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So what I understood is like, whatever happening right now is all the Shiva Tattva. It is happening. We are just here. Whatever the thoughts we are getting, everything is him happening. So I see like we need to be more fortunate that we are the play and display of that Shiva happening, instead of getting stuck if we get any problems. Even that problem is also because of that principle itself. So realizing that, I feel like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Realizing that,
I can see your smile and that lightness that you are feeling.
yeah, it's
It's such a relief, no, Chandra?
sorry, Swamiji, what you said?
It's such a relief,
Yes,
such a
yes,
realization.
yes, true, very true.
Mm.
It's amazing knowledge. Fortunate to be here today. Thank you, Parinji.
What?
I heard this. Yeah, I heard this story earlier. Even in the Mahabharata, in the TV, in the school, in Doordarshan, in the olden days, also the story is there. But now listening to that, the scenes behind it, like the Shiva principle, is not shown in that movie at all, like the serial. And now when we are listening to that, it is amazing. It's completely amazing.
Yes. Who would like to share? Just few pointers we all can think. Even the names are very meaningful. The king's name was Sheel Nidhi. What does that mean? We all can think about it. Then Indra, who is Indra? So Indra can be looked at in two different ways. Generally, people don't understand the common mind, not common mind. The collective mind is also Indra. So whenever someone is doing meditation and tapas, the collective mind is rattled. Why? Because everyone is going through their daily routine, eating, drinking, sleeping, business, job, this, that, and then one person is trying to escape this. And then the collective mind is rattled. How can somebody do that? Oh, you don't feel responsible? You are meditating? This is time to work. How can you do this? Oh, these days you have become a meditator. You don't even get angry. You are not a normal person now. You don't feel this, that. So this is how the Indra works. What else? Sheel Nidhi, the king.
What does Sheel Nidhi mean, Swamiji? Sheel I know,
Eh,
Nidhi. Nidhi mane what?
Sheel, Sheel is different. We can think of it little bit.
Swamiji. Shield Nidhi means
Yes,
victory over five sense. इंद्र मतलब
Sheel Nidhi.
इंद्रिय मतलब सेंस हुआ ना, फाइव सेंस.
Indra.
इंद्र.
We can think little more. What else we can learn from this? And we can draw parallel from our own lives.
Swamiji, I'm feeling very grateful about how some like so much work must have gone into create so much intricate design. It's not easy to put
Yes,
together this show, and it's so perfect. If yes, I know I'm great. I'm feeling like wow. It's like I feel important to be part of this creation at the same time.
you know that part of the story where it says that this was the place where Shiva burned Kamdeva, the Lord, the angel, not Lord, or maybe Lord, angel of the desire.
Uh-huh.
So any place, I don't know whether you have experienced or not. If you are meditating at a particular place daily in your home, anyone who comes there, na, whether that person meditates or not, that person will feel a great sense of relief. Sudden something calms down, like entering into Bangalore ashram or maybe Boon ashram, someplace. So this is what it means. Shiva, when we go beyond the body mind complex, we reach that state. And whoever will, like when I was doing business, I'm just sharing. Many people have already experienced this, still I'm sharing. So most of the time I would be meditating on my office chair. So one day I thought to do some experiments. So my cousin brother, while coming back from school, and cousin sister also. So they will come and talk to me, chit chatting. So a few days I asked them to sit on my chair. And after some time, both will say, we are feeling sleepy. We are going back. I'm feeling sleepy. Then I started to understand if you meditate regularly, so this is one thing I understood from that, where Shiva has burned. So whoever meditates will always rise above the sense pleasures. This is very natural. And so other people also get affected by that positive energy. What else?
So one thing which struck with me, Swamiji, that when he said, this is where Shiva had burned Kamadeva, and also, and then Shiva says, as long as from where his ashes can be seen, that place will not be affected. To me, what I understood was that during meditation, you win over the desires. it's not like you're burning actually a human being, but it is that you burn those desires, not that they burn, but they die or whatever, they subside. But as long as you keep your mind on, you keep yourself focused that okay, those desires have gone down with the meditation, then you will not get back on the same horse. As long as you keep your
Hmm.
mind in that meditative mode, those desires cannot rise up again. So this is what, to me, that's what it means, that from wherever you can see, whoever can see from a distance, that is, they will not get affected. So if you keep your mind on that meditative place or that mindset of Shiva, then you're safe, you're in safe zone.
Yes, yes. And another point is whatever desires we get, it is coming from another source, some source. You don't need to be bothered about that. But we definitely need to meditate.
Yeah.
The subtle energies keep coming to us in different forms, some form. And the main obstacles are ego. Then what comes after ego? One goes around the town boasting, despite being told, don't do that. This is what happens. I have done this, I have done that. And this is also very big realization one can take is even something good is happening through us, that is because of grace, nothing else. What else was there in his story?
There was one small sentence. Sorry, I'll let somebody else speak. Yeah.
No, you can at least give us a pointer.
So in that story itself, it said Narada was able to meditate there for a long time because Shiva had meditated there. So what it means to me is that it was basically Shiva's grace that Narada was able to go into meditation on the first place. And the reason, because Shiva at that point had won over those desires and burned Kamdeva, that's why Narada was also able, because he was in that protective field. So even meditation is happening due to Shiva. So where can Narada, or basically I can say that I meditated. So, to me, in the first paragraph itself, I think there's a whole lot that can.
Yes, yes, yes. The moment you enter, at least I have gone to Bangalore ashram, I have been to few ashrams in India, so I can relate to this.
So, Swamiji, then, so meditating is by grace, not meditating will also be by grace. It's also an event that is
Not by
being
grace, that will
Okay.
be some illusion created by the Lord Himself. Why? Because the Lord wants to break something in you, make you
So-
learn something, which by meditation you are not able to learn. Are you getting this point?
No, tell me some more.
So even while somebody has meditated for long, long time, won over desires and everything, that person might not be able to learn very what.
No, I get it now.
So that for that learning, the Lord creates illusion. Why? Because that only anything to learn. Like we have case studies in engineering and management, no? So we can learn only through case studies, practical life case studies. This is what happens. But the important thing is learning. And when we are not learning what is happening, we are even blaming those people who are there with us. Many people raise finger at Puji Gurudev also. How can he do this? He's not taking care. So this is all
Illusion.
there to learn something. Whether we are learning or not, that's a different thing. And when you learn and then you feel, what happens then? You feel sad. You have guilt in it. But the Lord is saying, do not worry about it. This is all because of the Lord's illusion. So do not be going down the guilt trip. And though one has been in illusion, just look at this aspect also. Narada was in illusion, big illusion, and he cursed even Vishnu. And Vishnu accepted that curse. Vishnu is what? That energy which is running the whole universe. When that basic element comes into that managerial role, that is Vishnu. So whenever we are angry, what do? We blame each and everyone who is running either the organization or the family. When kids are angry, they will blame parents. When we are angry, we'll blame the organization. When we are in ashram, we'll blame the ashram people. This is what we do, and what the Vishnu is doing, accepting that curse also as a blessing. Why? This will bring something good later on. I hope this is also making sense.
Let, let me ask it one more time. Sometimes I don't meditate because God is creating an illusion for me. And in creating this illusion, I know if I don't meditate, I'll get into misery. But out of that misery, I'll learn something that God wants me to learn. And
Yes.
so whether I meditate or I don't meditate, it's all good for me. So it's all
yes. Yes.
But
Just remove the me from there.
Yeah.
All is part of the same show.
It's all events flowing through. I'm just enjoying.
For example, when recently TTP happened, and some people said something, and this, that, not big, but if I would have taken it personally, it would all have gone somewhere else. If I would have taken things like, for a moment I thought they should not be doing this, but this is what happens. Narada will always blame Vishnu because Vishnu is very close friend of Narada.
Okay.
So those people who are running, taking care of things, they will be blamed. Something wrong happens in city, the mayor will get blamed, the police chief will get blamed, everyone. So this is how it goes. And when I left that, already things are happening by itself. I did not bring people here. I did not, if I said this also in another session, I did not bring people here. I have not created this ashram. I have not created art of living. This is not, had got nothing to do with me. I'm just here as a part of it. What part of it? Something is already happening. And I'm in the middle of that happening, and something is happening through me also. Like Joy is married, Anandita is there, then they have a kid also. But even before Joy, things were there, people were there. his parents, his grandparents, then great grandparents, great grandparents. Everything is already happening. He's living in some place in US. US has not come into existence after Joy has created it. It is already there. Some things are happening. Joy is there as part of that big happening, and he is playing his role. Whatever role he has chosen to play, or the nature has given him to play. This also makes sense.
I would like it if I summarized it in my words one more time. You
Yes.
said, don't take it personally. Like when people were pointing fingers at you, you decided not to take it personally. It's more or less same as us saying, accept the situation and do whatever is needed to be done and go with the flow. Is this a good interpretation, or did I miss something?
Yes. Go with the flow and don't take everything on yourself. Things are already happening. Just imagine if I would not have been here. Somebody else would have been here. Even then, things would have be going on.
Yes.
If I do not exist on this planet, even then that everything will keep moving on. So I'm a part of the big happening.
Swamiji,
Yes.
actually, why is the collective consciousness bothered about the people who are meditating? Because anyways, the meditating people, they are adding to the positiveness of the collective consciousness, right?
Because the trend is getting broken. No? There are, say, 5 people in your family, maybe 3 people in your family. All 3 people have a particular routine, particular set of mindset, particular set of thought pattern, and suddenly one decides to do something else. Forget about meditation. If tomorrow Joy's daughter decides that I'm not going to study anymore because I want to pursue, say, music. I don't want to go to school. I will just learn music and go. What will happen to Joy or Anandita? They both will be, no, we can't do this. This is not good. Everything will follow. And say Joy's daughter name is Radhika. Radhika persists despite all the opposition and everything. 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, she becomes a very famous musician. What will happen then? The whole perspective of Joy and Anandita will be changed. And suppose down the line Radhika is not so successful, then what will happen? So anyone who tries to walk the uncommon path, whether it is meditation or whatever, Indra will surely get rattled.
So when the Swamiji, transition happens even on the earth,
What
they
happens?
say
Sorry?
transition.
Okay.
Transition from the yugas, like they say, from Kali Yuga to Satya Yuga, when the transition happens, is the same process happens there, like the collective consciousness is bothered and, all the
No,
disruption happens.
not like.
Acha.
Yugas simply means the time has its own effect on human mind and the surroundings. If you are happy, if your surrounding is very happy, healthy, you are in Satyuga. Simple. We all forget everything while we are in Bangalore ashram, specifically in the company of the master. Satyuga has already dawned. And then the mind starts to see this is wrong, that is right. So Narada is getting into illusion. So
Swamiji, can you repeat the last sentence? Narada is getting into?
illusion. The moment you start to see things differently, you are getting into illusion. Just know that everything is already happening. We are part of that happening, and if you are ready to play that part, that is okay. That is good. Know that you are just playing the role. Don't think that you have become that. You have not won over your senses. What else? Yes, Praveenji, such a nice narration of the story. Huh? So good. So we'll continue with the next story, Praveenji, next time.
Yes, definitely, because the story is still 3 more chapters, Swamiji. So I only translated this much because I felt there was a lot in this story as it is to discuss. So I stopped there. I had one question
Hmm.
though, Swamiji, in this story, and but before I ask that question, I want others to give a chance. There's so many: Valerie, Siddharth, Anupma. Don't you guys have any questions? Please ask. Yeah.
Valerie is there. Yes, Valerie.
Om Swamiji.
Yes.
My question is, I'm trying to understand Indra's role. You see, Narada is already pious and he's meditating or trying to meditate. And Indra goes to disrupt it.
Yes.
So all spiritual teachings in any religion or any spiritual practice, like they encourage, like in the art of living, okay, kriya and meditation and knowledge. So let's say this is, as Narada, we are trying to follow that, and then Indra comes to disrupt. Why is that? Shouldn't the gods encourage us to do better, to do more meditation, do more knowledge, so we can be self-realized or go wherever? Why is the disruption coming? I'm trying to
Valerie,
understand that.
yeah. Why can be looked at with exclamation mark? Not a question, with a question mark. You will never understand this. You means we will never be able to understand. Just hold on a second. Because Valerie, we are not able to see the big picture. That is why we ask why. Otherwise, we can only wonder why this happens. Why? Why cannot everything be smooth? Everything be so good, nice? Why? But then that principle of opposite values are complementary will fail.
Swamiji, my question is not about why everything cannot be smooth, right?
But ultimately, Valerie, that will come to that only, no? What you are saying. Another way to look at role of Indra is the one who meditates. Now we are talking only about meditation, not how I gave example of Joy's kid, daughter. the one who meditates starts to rule the world, literally. And this is not something which the subtle forces want. Because for how it is said that Valerie, that when you start to meditate, even if you wish that today it rains, it will rain. Because you are now completely in sync with nature. And then if you are not a mature person, like Narada was not so solid in his tapas and meditation, what happened? He got into illusion. Very big illusion. And this is what happens to many of us. Many of us who are meditating since a long time, for a long time, even if we had desired something good for someone else, it has manifested. If we have, before we have asked something, we got that. But then the mind starts to drift from the center and goes towards that. So Indra will come, and if you are solid, Indra will have no effect. And then Indra will leave you. Like, let us see it like this also. When Gurudev started in the traveling, when he went to London, he will just touch and people will get healed. And he shared that people will stand in long queues. But then he saw people are not interested in knowledge and meditation. They were just getting healed and going back again to same routine, same lifestyle, same, nothing else is changing. Then he stopped that. The knowledge should be the foundation of everything. Meditation should be the foundation of everything. This has brought transformation in all of us. Healing happens. So the point is, if he wishes, he can do anything any moment of time. But why he is not doing that? He can, a guru, a master Valerie can go transcend everything. Even the basic elements, as we say Shiva or he or she can transcend that also. But every master has realized that over the time that people are not so much interested in, if you will take away the pain just like that, then they are not interested. Yes, Valerie, you are saying something.
I will need to sleep on it. It's a lot to process.
I can understand, Valerie, because I have also gone through this. This is a very natural, common path of every meditator.
So it's basically the universe or the tattva is trying to teach us a lesson with that disruption. And and it's individually that I am supposed to learn my lesson and overcome the situation. Is that what it is?
Yes, this is one way of looking at things. Yes. In another way, each one of us has to realize that we are part of this universe. This universe belongs to us and we belong to this universe. We are not different from this existence. Our main issue is we have lived like we do not belong to this existence. We are separate from this existence. That is why human beings are creating so much of trouble.
That was going to be my next question. Why is there so much, killing and misery and all these bad things happening in the world?
Because we do not feel that this world, this existence belongs to us. Or we belong to this existence. This is the biggest misfortune that has befallen this human existence. And the biggest step we can take is we have to just become aware we are part of this. Everyone is part of this. Suppose, Valerie, someone is doing something wrong. That person is also part of this existence. I do not agree with that, and I would like to correct that. That is a totally different aspect. But we cannot deny that existence as part of the whole. What happens to us? We immediately separate ourselves from that person. So the compassion leaves us. Why Gurudev is able to change so many lives? Why? Because he never looks at people as someone is a bad person or someone has done something wrong or not. His compassion, his love affects each and everyone.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Just because I have cough does not mean that my lung is a bad part of my existence. I have got bad digestion. That doesn't mean that my stomach, now I need to discard my stomach. No. That definitely something needs to be done. Why my stomach is behaving the way it is behaving? Can I go deep into it? Can I do something about it? Healing happens from that only. Healing will never happen if I think that my stomach has gone that way, this way. Yes, Valerie.
Does that mean instead of thinking the stomach is separate from me, that the stomach and I are the same? Is that what it means?
Come again.
You said that we should not separate ourselves from the world. So if, like, say that example, something wrong with my stomach, so am I supposed to be like one with the stomach and not think the stomach is separate from me?
I will give you, Valerie, I will give you one very simple tool. Tonight, when you go to sleep, because we will sleep after a few hours, those who are from India or Asia. When you are sleeping tonight, as you are lying on the bed, just observe your breath and then observe your body. And ask your body, what is it that you are trying to tell me? Can you be more specific and clear? I'm not able to understand. And don't try to listen to something. Because this is an understanding that will come beyond words. Though we are communicating through words, because human mind is so much stuck into words. Suppose you are having some discomfort anywhere, even a pinch of discomfort, go to that part of the body and ask, what is it that you are trying to tell me? And just hold yourself there and just see how it creates magic in you. So if somebody is doing something bad, just imagine if we can go and ask that person in a very, we don't need to be goody-goody, but if we can go and ask with compassion and care that what is it that is troubling you? Why you are acting like this? Not exactly in words, but this should be the approach.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Joy, you are saying something?
Swamiji, quick question. Sometimes I see two meditators, like long-term, strong meditators, get into major disagreements with each other. How does that happen? They are both connecting to the same
But Joy, they are supposed to be in a disagreement. That is why each and every person should be agreeing at each and everything. Then what is the use of having this universe? When you come to India, you get mangoes, and you don't get mangoes of just one variety. Are you saying that everyone there should be just one mango? When you go to don't even think that we all should be agreeing on each and everything. Why we need to agree on each and everything? You are Joy, Valerie is Valerie, Praveen is Praveen, Anupma is Anupma. And still we have the basic silver lining as same. Why Anupma needs to become someone else, something else? No. Nobody needs to become something else. We are already one. Either we agree or disagree, it hardly matters. Suppose, Joy, I'm just giving one more example. You and Anandita agree on something regarding your home, kid. But despite your disagreement, you both have the same goal. And you can work on that. Not every American needs to be thinking on the same line, but everyone can think of a great America, prosperous America, healthy America. But just because everyone says that healthy America doesn't mean everyone has to do same exercise, same postures. You can do Sarvangasana, I would like to do cat pose. Let's disagree on that. But we both want to be healthy and happy. Is this making sense? Okay then.
Already, we are at 9 o'clock. Anybody would like to share something?
Yeah. Now I think we have discussed too much today.
We will have to take up the same part again next time, Swamiji, because I myself had two questions which didn't get, clear today.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
next time, yeah.
So today we are not meditating, huh?
No.
Because it's already we are
5
crossing.
months.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Swamiji, can you give us that as a question or make it into a meditation? What you were telling Valerie about
We'll do that now. We'll do that now.
Sorry, Siddharth, I took all the time today. Next time I'll let you speak.
So close your eyes. Take a long and deep normal breath. And as you breathe out, relax your whole body. Observe your breath. Become aware of your whole body. You are sitting at home, comfortable. Just look at your whole body, observe your whole body. If there is any discomfort in any part of the body, take your attention there. Lower back, or maybe shoulders. Even if you are not able to smile, take your attention there. Breathe in, breathe out. Ask your own, that part of the body, what is it that you are trying to tell me? Why are you uncomfortable? And assure your own body, I'm there for you. I'm taking care. Don't worry. I'm here for you. Breathe in and breathe out slowly. Take your attention to some another part of your body. Just say, relax, I'm here. Even when you are uncomfortable, I'm there for you. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax more and more. Breathe in and let go. Become aware of body, surroundings. Slowly and gradually open your eyes. Very good. Then. So we'll meet next Thursday is what? Yeah, 9th, no? Yes, we'll meet on 9th.